The NBA draft is done. It's over. Finito. It's time to grade every single first round pick from the 2026 NBA drafts. Compared to the last couple years, I would say this one was pretty chalky. Like, nothing crazy out of the ordinary like a Hansen Yang, maybe a couple years ago, like an AJ Johnson. Like, I'd say overall, obviously I'm missing some, but overall, this was a pretty solid, especially coming from fans and what we expected the draft to be. Made a lot of sense. Hope you guys enjoyed this video though. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description to submit your video ideas. And we're going to start with the #1 overall pick, AJ Dembinsa at an A. The reason I don't have him at A+ is because I believe that Darren Peterson is the best player from this draft class. He was my #1 overall rated player throughout essentially most of the season, I would say. Didn't really feel like the Wizards were ever going to 100% buy into that though. It always felt like AJ Dembinsa was the correct decision since the draft lottery was finalized. I have no problems with this pick. I gave Cooper Flagg last year an A+. I think the year before that, Reece Shea, I gave him a C+, some maybe low Bs. So obviously it's not a bad pick. I think Dembinsa will be a superstar in the NBA potentially, but I'm giving it an A, and for that reason, at 2, Darren Peterson is an A+ for me. Now, fit-wise, what does he look like with the Jazz next to Keyonte George? I mean, if I had to guess, you're probably buying into what Darren Peterson can be for you long-term more than what you do if Keyonte George was your #1 guy long-term, especially at that point guard position. I think Darren Peterson is going to be playing at his best basketball, the point guard, lead guard position at the NBA level. He looked amazing doing it during high school. He showed out in the McDonald's All-American game. At the college level, he was put into a different role and dealt with a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we get to see a healthy summer league. We get to see a healthy rookie year from Darren Peterson. It's going to be tough for him to maybe get into those rookie of the year conversations because this is a pretty talented roster. But I think Darren Peterson is well in line to be a superstar player in the NBA. I think the Jazz are also a pretty solid organization, even though he didn't want to go there. Pretty solid organization to start with because they do have certain centerpieces, building blocks, foundation points that I think is very important for a successful NBA franchise. At 3, we have Cam Boozer. I'm also giving him an A. Was my 3rd overall prospect. I mean, there's no reason for me not to give him an A. This makes 100% perfect sense. He might have the best opportunity out of every single rookie in this class to potentially win Rookie of the Year because there's not a lot of talent to go against there in Memphis, especially at his position. He's going to be the starting power forward next to Zach Edey for next year. And I expect him to put up some pretty solid numbers, maybe even enough to win the Rookie of the Year. Like Darren Peterson, obviously you got guys like Keyonte George, you have Isaiah Collier, who both deserve the balls in their hands. And then at 2, or at 1, excuse me, for AJ Dembinsa, Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George, Will Riley was a rookie. I'm not expecting him to take the ball out of AJ Dembinsa's hands, but they play the same position. So there is a lot of stuff to think about for that specifically. I think Cam Boozer at 3 though, A. Caleb Wilson at 4 is also going to be an A. I mean, the more you listen to this guy talk in his interviews, the way he represents himself, he just feels like a superstar. He feels like a superstar because he feels like he wants him more than everybody else. He didn't believe he deserved to be the 4th overall pick because he outplayed Cam Boozer when they played, because he outplayed Darren Peterson, because he outplayed AJ Dembinsa. He felt like he was the guy from this draft class, and I don't understand why we're able to say he's not the guy. Now, can there be jump shot concerns at the next level? Possibly, but compared to what we thought it was going to look like at North Carolina, he is a lot more better than what we thought. Easily. His jump shot looked great this year. Maybe there's some off-ball defensive lapses. I've seen some. That's something that can 100% be fixed at the NBA level because of your coaching staff. You should have the trust in your staff that you could fix the rookie mistakes as they go along their rookie year. So Caleb Wilson at 4. This is an A. I'm so excited that Chicago has a future superstar. Him and Matas Buzelis next to each other. The length, the activity, the athleticism on both sides of the ball. I'm ecstatic. 5 though, not a pick I'm as ecstatic about. It's going to be Keaton Wagler at a B- to the Los Angeles Clippers. Yeah, Keaton Wagler, if I'm not mistaken, I can pull it up real quick, was my 13th player in this class. Now, obviously, great year at Illinois. I think he was one of the more impressive freshman seasons that we've seen in a long time. But I'm still a little bit interested to see what does the NBA adaptability look like because he's going to play at his pace. Does that allow him to be a catch and shoot guy for the Clippers? Because we're not expecting him to have the ball in his hand too much with Darius Garland, with Kawhi Leonard. So can he be a catch and shoot guy? The percentages say he can. Is that the role we want him in, though? Is it? Because what we saw out of Illinois, he should be able to put the ball on the floor, but I'm not sure if he can handle that at an NBA level. It's just my opinion. Obviously, very good player in Keaton Wagler. I got to give it a B minus, though. At 6, we have Mikal Brown Jr. It's going to be a B plus for me. All the reports said he was going to go to the Nets at 6, so obviously I wasn't hard to mock. I wasn't able to give you guys a final mock draft. I did end up making one on my own. I was at the draft, so right before the draft. I guess we'll go over that at the end of the video. But all the reports were saying this, so this was not a surprising pick, but we all knew, or everyone does know, that Darius Acuff is probably the better offensive prospect. And for a Brooklyn Nets team who doesn't control their pick in 2027, you would hope to just shoot for the stars. And they didn't really do that. They went with possibly their safer prospect in Mikal Brown Jr., who I guess performed better at their workouts for their scouting team. I think Acuff is still the correct pick. It's not like I hate Mikal Brown Jr. He gets a B plus for a reason. He was my preseason top 4 prospect in this draft class. But long term, is he a 1A guy? No, he doesn't project into that. And I think someone like Darius Acuff does. Just my opinion at 6. If you have a chance to take a 1A talent, you do. And they didn't do that. 7. For that exact reason, Darius Acuff to the Kings gets an A+. Yeah. This is the perfect pick. You pick your hopefully potential superstar. It might be tough keeping him in Sacramento because of the obvious reasons of keeping a superstar player in Sacramento. You don't have the market. Maybe there's some other issues surrounding the team. You feel what I'm saying? There's questions. There's definitely questions there. As a prospect, though, I think he 100% deserved to go 6. I think the Kings are very lucky that they didn't have to trade up to 5 to get him. So he's a guard who's gonna have the ball in his hands. He's going to look to go downhill, but if he doesn't even have to go downhill, great at the step back jump shot, finds his way in the mid range. Averaged over 6 assists last year for Arkansas. You know how hard it is to average 6 assists as a freshman point guard or as a point guard in college basketball? Only Cal player to ever average, Coach Calipari, player to ever average 23 and 6. That says a lot, and he's had some amazing guards at Kentucky. At 8, Kingston Flemings. Some of you guys might think this is a little high on an A. It's just what I got. Kingston Flemings was ranked higher over Darius Acuff on my personal board. I think he's an amazing downhill player. He reminds me a lot of Stephon Castle, how he's able to spray passes to the corner, to the wing after getting a paint touch. I think that is one of the most underrated skills an NBA player could have. If they're able to get a paint touch, draw 2 defenders, beat their first defender, draw a second defender, and spray it out, you just won yourself the possession because you have an open jump shot. He has that. Obviously, I don't know if the Stephon Castle comparisons draw too much after that because the other doesn't have the size. Not as good as a defender, but still a solid defender. He's, I think, more of a point guard out of college than what Stephon Castle was. But I really think that Kingston Flemings can be the number 1 lead guard for the Atlanta Hawks as they go through their future. You have Jalen Johnson. He's hopefully your 1A player for the future. Is that what we're thinking? Hopefully. Kingston Flemings can be a perfect piece to put next to him. Can be your point guard. There's a lot of question marks maybe surrounding his size. We saw him kill at the college level. I mean, there shouldn't be any more question marks past that. 9, Morris Johnson Jr. I'm seeing a lot of low grades for Morris Johnson Jr. at 9. Oh, I thought I had him high as a prospect when I had him. I think I had him 10th, or I had him 10th in this class. Apparently not. Apparently the Mavericks, and especially Dusty May, thinks he is a 9th best player or deserving of that 9th pick in this draft class. Now, do I think he's a really good player to put next to Cooper Flagg? Yes, this is a switchable defender. He's a great hustle player. He's someone who hopefully at his best is going to be able to hit a jump shot outside the arc. Just at 9, it feels like there's better prospects you could take. We thought potentially Braden Burries. There was other really good fits, maybe players with higher potential that you would have rather liked. But as a solid NBA player who's going to get it done on both sides of the court, I don't hate the pick. He's my 10th best prospect. Having him go 9 to me doesn't sound so crazy. To others, might be a big question mark. 10, Braden Burries to the Milwaukee Bucks. A-. You get off of Giannis, I think you get a really good NBA ready player right away. I'm pretty excited to see what him, Ryan Rollins, Kasper Siakam with that 3-guard rotation for next year could look like. All young guards, all looking to really make their, I guess Ryan Rollins has sort of solidified himself already, but there could be a really high potential out of those 3 guys that we don't know about yet. I think the Bucks are very happy with getting Braden Burries at 10. Can have the ball in his hands, could also play without the ball in his hands. He's just a really solid basketball prospect in general. I think I was sitting behind, obviously at his draft table, he's going to have his family around him. I think I was sitting behind his extended family though at the draft. They were very hyped seeing Mr. Burries go 10 to Milwaukee. 11, Yaxel Lendeborg to the Golden State Warriors. I'm giving this an A. Maybe you could argue an A-. I think considering he's nearly 24 years old, Yaxel isn't necessarily the safest possible prospect. Just could there be a chance that the outside jump shot doesn't look amazing? I mean, you're playing with Steph Curry. You're playing with Draymond Green. You're going to have to hit an outside jump shot. Is there a chance that doesn't work in year 1? Yes. And if that doesn't work in year 1, you're going to year 2 with a 25-year-old prospect who maybe we're not as high on anymore. Now, the reason I have him at A, because I think it's all going to work out for Yaxel. He's a great downhill player. Hopefully, he could have some positive Draymond influence on the defensive side of the basketball. As long as he just does what Jonathan Kuminga did at a higher level, this is a good pick for the Golden State Warriors. 12, Adai Mara to the OKC Thunder. It's an A. It's an A. I don't know how you guys let Adai Mara, the 7'3" beast, fall to the Thunder here at number 12, but they did. The Thunder also just extended Isaiah Hartenstein for 3 years, $75 million, which is big. Also did trade Isaiah Joe, did trade Aaron Wiggins. They're still going to have to clear up some more space. It's probably going to come at the expense of Lou Dort or maybe a Cason Wallace, because we don't really know if Cason Wallace is going to want to be a long-term Thunder, but I think this could be a guy post Isaiah Hartenstein. If we get to something a year or 2 in advance and it looking like he's at that level, I think Adai Mara, his shot blocking ability, his touch around the rim, just feels like a modern day NBA big. The small ball, the day of the small ball is over. The bigs are back. Adai Mara fits perfectly into that, and the OKC Thunder get a steal at 12. 13, Nate Ament. It's gonna be a B. Yeah, honestly, if they didn't end up completing the Giannis trade before the NBA drafts and they were just stuck with the 10th overall pick, and in that scenario, I think they would essentially been forced into drafting Nate Ament because they loved him so much. If that was the scenario, this would probably be getting a D+. It is, but because you took a safer prospect in Braden Burries, you're allowed to take maybe a bit more of a swing in a Nate Ament. I think a Nate Ament can be a solid NBA player. I did not think we saw close to what he could have potentially did last year at Tennessee, and that does annoy me. I hope he's more aggressive this year. I hope he's more confident with the ball in his hands, which is sort of crazy because he just came from a situation in college where you think possibly he'd be worse at in the NBA. Because if you're not confident to do that in college, what makes me think you could do it at the NBA? I don't know. Definitely some questions there. But I just hope that he takes more of a commanding role this year, especially with the ball in his hands. Play off of Ryan Rollins. That could be very interesting. 14, Hannes Steinbach. Getting a B+. Nothing wrong with the pick. You needed big. You drafted big. Safe prospect Steinbach. Very underrated prospect out of Washington too. I like the pick. I don't have too much more to say about that. 15, Dalen Swain to the Bulls. It's gonna get a B for me. Reason it's not too high because I think maybe I would have preferred Cam Carr again. Maybe not, but maybe I would have preferred Cam Carr. Just think there could potentially be some outside shooting questions, and if we're thinking about him long term next to Modest, next to Caleb Wilson, that's 3 guys that we don't have 100% guarantee are going to be positive outside shooters, which could bring up some questions. But Dalen Swain is one of the best fast break players in this draft class, the best fast break player in this draft class. I love what he could bring at an NBA level on both sides of the basketball. It's going to get a B. I think maybe it's a little too high, but I think it's still a good pick for sure. 16, Bennett Sturts to the OKC Thunder. B+, reason being, Phylon's still on the board. You pick guard. Christian Anderson still on the board. You pick guard. I had Anderson and Phylon above Bennett Sturts, but I still like Bennett Sturts, especially at 16. So this is still fine for me. Gonna get a B+. 17, Abuka Okori. You see where I'm going with. Actually, matter of fact, the more I'm thinking it, the more I want to bump it down. I mean, Christian Anderson still on the board. LeBaron Fallon Jr. still on the board. I just think they're better prospects than Abuka Okori. I told you guys Okori was going to go top 20. I don't know if it was going to be the Raptors. I don't know if it was going to be the... Who held 16 originally? Was it the Grizzlies? I knew he was going top 20. I knew someone was going to take a swing. The Pistons did. I think there's two better guards that are on the board. 18. Yes, 18, Christian Anderson. I'll give you an A. Christian Anderson at 18. Kobe White's going to be your starting point guard next year, and I like that for you. Christian Anderson being your backup point guard for you next year, I love what the potential of what that can bring. Anderson is maybe this class's best shooter. One of the class's best facilitators. He controls the game at a great pace. I love the fact they also drafted him and Hannes Stamback, the German connection. That is great. That's fun. 18 to the Hornets. Perfect pick. Perfect pick. I think him and Phylon are near the same tier as prospects. Would I have preferred Phylon? I mean, maybe. That would have got an A+ for you, but I mean, the German connection, you can't go wrong with that. Christian Anderson, 18. Give me A. 19, Allen Graves. Yeah, C-. C-. Just so much better prospects on the board, especially for what you need. I mean, why are we addicted to drafting or accumulating these 6'7" players? I mean, not even just 6'7", but similar archetypes and players. Guess they could stretch the floor to an extent. I just don't love this. I don't love this. I don't love this at all. I'm not going to say too much about it. Quentin's at 20 to the Spurs. First guy we mentioned here that was not at the draft. He's going to get a B from me. Yeah, I got some questions. I got some questions. I think they went pretty heavy on big this year. Getting Quentin, getting Reed, getting Malik Brown. That's 3 power forward centers or big guys that you're adding to your roster. Now, assuming we're going to get rid of the likes of Miles Plumlee, Kelly Olynyk, and Bismack Biyombo, we're just going to swap those guys out. Then, okay, I understand that. But I feel like you could have added potentially, now this might seem crazy, I know you did draft Jacoby Gillespie, but maybe even another guard. If we're planning to trade up for Terrence Reed Jr. at, 26, what's stopping us from taking LeBaron Fallon Jr. and hopefully finding a trade partner for De'Aaron Fox? I don't think there should be anything. And even that, I would love to see them potentially add a Harrison Barnes replacement here at 20. Now, that's definitely going to be hard to come by because that is a unique NBA player who's one of the best corner shooters in the league, plus defender as well. But I think you probably take a shot at a forward/wing. They do take Quentin, though. I'm going to give it a B. He could be really good at the NBA level, though. So don't get my words twisted. I think Quentin can still be a really high player. 21. I honestly would have preferred this for the Spurs, but Karim Lopez to the Memphis Grizzlies, going to get a B- for me. If you guys saw his post-draft interview, I forgot with what panel it was, but he didn't know he was going to the Grizzlies until they said, how does it feel, or have you ever worked out with the Grizzlies? Because he was wearing the Pistons hat. NBA, you guys gotta change that. I don't know why you still have, you're just confusing these young men. You're confusing the prospects. Give them the right hat. I think the NFL does it correctly, right? Because I don't think I've ever, the NFL, I'm pretty sure does it correctly. There's trades left and right, and they're able to switch out the hats. Come on. But yeah, he was a really high prospect to start the cycle for me. I think I had him, 6? I'm pretty sure I had him 6. But this is someone whose jump shot looks very much improved, who's a very physical player inside on both sides of the ball. I just think that didn't have great production last year with the New Zealand Breakers, and maybe the best route for him would have been college basketball, which for some it is, for some it isn't. I think it did hurt his stock a little bit because I think he could have been a top 10 guy if he landed in the right position. He just wasn't. Now, he was playing in the second best league in the world, so there's that, but there's questions. There's definitely questions. 22, LeBaron Fallon Jr. in the no-cap chain, by the way. To the Philadelphia 76ers. Gonna get an A+ for me. I mean, do you desperately need point guard? No, but you got my 8th ranked prospect at 22. Are you serious? This is someone I think can be a star at the NBA level. It is. And you got him at 22. Man, 23 though. is Zuby Ejiofor to the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to get a D plus from me. D plus. Yeah, there's better bigs to take. I also don't think you had to force yourself into taking a big. Your first pick, you took Kingston Flemings. I think there's for sure better complementary pieces you could have picked more than Zuby Ejiofor. Ejiofor, 6'7", does have good length at I think what a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan. But there's already questions with his outside shot, and now we're adding him to a situation in Atlanta where I just don't know if I see minutes for him in his rookie contract. I don't. And at 23, you hopefully take a guy that you think can contribute sometime down the line. I don't think that's Zuby Ejiofor. 24 though, Cam Carr to the LA Lakers, A+. Now, as you guys can see, you see what hat he's wearing in that draft day picture. It's the New York Knicks. Do you understand how many times the New York Knicks have traded prospects I've had loved or traded out of the pick for a prospect I had loved? Like Keyshawn George 2 years ago. You know how hard that hit me? Let him go to the Wizards. This is someone who's going to be a starter on a championship team one day. I'm not going to say I guarantee, but I have strong feelings about. He would have contributed to this year's championship. Cam Carr, he's going to contribute potentially somewhere else in another big market, and we trade out because we want to stay under the second apron. Man. You know how much money they saved with trading out of that pick? I think somewhere in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not even over $1 million. That sucks. That really sucks, because I think Cam Carr is going to be a great player in the NBA one day. And I think you just gave Luka Doncic a perfect catch and shoot guy who would also put the ball on the floor and dunk on someone. Man. I'm really excited to see him with the Lakers, though. It should be interesting. 25. Serge Delaria to the Dallas Mavericks is getting a C+ from me. Again, C+ doesn't mean I hate the pick necessarily. I mean, it doesn't. He's a good point guard. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He has good size. Did the Mavericks desperately need point guard? I don't know. Maybe not. But, you took Morris Johnson Jr., you took Serge Delaria. That doesn't feel like a really successful first round in my opinion. I don't know. 26, though, we have Tarris Reed Jr. to the San Antonio Spurs. Gonna get a B- from me. I mean, there's better bigs to take, I think, at this spot, like Chris Sanak. I would have probably preferred Koa Pete. Now, I am a UConn fan. You guys see the backgrounds. Got the Final Four towels. Got the Kemba Walker jump shot Big East tournament. So I'm not going to hate on the pick by any means. I also think that he is a first-round prospect. But there is probably a prospect or two I would take over Tarris Reed at this point for the Spurs specifically. And you also double up on bigs. Maybe there's some questions right there. I still love Tarris Reed. He's going to be a great backup big in the NBA. I think sooner than later. I think he's going to outplay Quaintance for the potential third-string spot behind Kornet. Or if they end up moving Kornet, this is your backup big. And I don't think there's a problem with that. Tarris Reed Jr. 26, give me a B-. 27, Chris Sanak Jr. A. Steal at 27. Great pick. Now, the reason it's not an A+ is strictly the reason that, I think that the Boston Celtics would have possibly fared better or will fare better with a different prototype of big than what Chris Sanak Jr. is. But you don't find prospects like him at the 27th overall pick in the NBA draft. At all. To A. 28. Joshua Jefferson, B+. Great player that's going to be in your rotation right away. I think the Nets, good pick. No problems. He's going to play for you right away. It's a good pick. 29, Alex Karaban to the Kings, B-. Now, I don't hate. Now, I see a lot of people hating on the fact that the Kings took Karaban. And this is not a winning organization. And Alex Karaban is one of the most winning players in the history of college basketball. I guess that's true. I guess it's true. Now, does Alex Karaban come in and change your culture of a basketball organization right away? No, he's not. He's definitely not. So where are we coming from with this pick? Future role player? I think that's fine. I also think maybe you have some guys already that you would probably prefer to play over him. I'm thinking Nick Clifford. I'm thinking, we'll see what happens with Keegan Murray. If we want to drive up that trade value, you better put him on the court. I love Alex Garabin. He's the captain. He's the captain. I wish he ended up with the Cavaliers. I wish they didn't trade out of that pick because that would have been so much better. 30 though. Koa Pete to the Suns. How'd you guys let him drop down to 30? I don't know. But it's going to get an A from me. NBA ready player. I think you did an amazing job if you're the Phoenix Suns in solidifying your future front court pieces. They don't have to be your starting front court, but Kaman Malawach and Koa Pete. That's great. That's a great foundation defensively. That's a great foundation. I think both those guys are able to actually move their feet. They don't have cement for shoes. That's a great pick at 30. That's going to be it for my grading every first round draft pick. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Do all of that. And I hope you guys enjoy your day. See you guys tomorrow with my reaction to my way too early 2026 mock draft. Peace.